Good morning. Good morning. It's time to rise and receive. Welcome to your 10-minute morning send off designed to support you in receiving what you most want by unlearning struggle. So, today we're going to talk about how to invite good fortune if or when you feel lost. So, welcome. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you, and welcome to anyone and everyone who's arriving now or as we move through Rise and Receive. It's always great to connect with you. I know I don't always call out specific names, but I see you. So I love having people join me for tea, coffee for our 10-minute morning send off. So, as I was saying, today we're going to talk about how to invite good fortune when or if you feel lost. And if you're among those who are getting here bright and early, I have I think it's a compelling question for you to consider. So, since we're talking about if or when you feel lost, I invite you to think about three words that you would use to describe if instead of feeling lost, you felt home. Now, I know that not everyone has a positive association with home. Some of us, we do. Some of us, it was, hit or miss. Some things were lacking. And for some of us, we have downright painful and even traumatic associations with home. So for this reason, I want to talk about ideal. In your ideal kind of dream scenario, if you feel lost, what would ideally home feel like to you? And think of three words, and I invite you to put them in the comments, whether you're joining me now or going to be joining me down the line in the video. This is for you because this will help you really connect with today's Rise and Receive in a way that's personally relevant. Plus, I always like to see what people associate with home. All right. So if you don't know me, my name is Sonia Miller. I'm a speaker, coach, and best-selling author, and I'm very passionate about teaching people how to receive their fulfillment by unlearning struggle. And what that points to is that receiving is actually the most natural thing in the world. We are born with the capacity to not only receive, but in so doing, really understand that life is always offering kindness. There is so much kindness, abundance, prosperity, well-being, health, joy, freedom, all that we desire, all that represents our fulfillment. It is right here to receive. But if you don't know how to receive, and if you look at the world through the lens of, I have to work hard to receive what I want, then what tends to happen is people just keep working hard. Work, figure things out, analyze, plan, strategize, seek. If at some point you don't know not only how to stop all that hard work, but receive what you've been working hard for and understand how it's already here, you're going to be working hard for eternity. And when you learn how to receive, which is its own very specific, real skill set, that allows you to enjoy your fulfillment in ways beyond what your mind could conceive of, to actually receive very concrete manifestations like so many of my students do. Pretty much anybody who does the work receives their manifestations. Everything from relationships, money, sales, homes, babies, health, well-being, weight loss, the kinds of things that we as humans want, as well as the deeper manifestations that are invisible, but the feelings of peace, freedom, joy, serenity, confidence, worthiness, all of that is received as well. You have to know how to receive them. So today, we're going to talk about what I really wanted to highlight as I contemplated this is I pulled one card from my Receive card deck, which is how this always starts, which inspires the Rise and Receive. And today I wanted to talk about two states of consciousness that we all have the capacity to access. It's the consciousness of seeking and the consciousness of seeing. Okay? And the reason I like to talk about consciousness is one of the foundational principles that we stand on when we start to learn how to receive is that your consciousness creates your reality. That means the sum total of your thoughts, beliefs, emotions, expectations, feelings, your past, everything that you've learned, okay, is the sum total of your consciousness. And you also have the capacity to invite all kinds of wisdom that you haven't learned, that you didn't know how to access before. All right, so the consciousness of seeking, which creates your reality, is when your whole being is focused on looking for something you think you don't have. So when we feel lost, we seek. We seek answers, we seek the way, we seek solutions, we seek clarity. When you're lost, you are in the consciousness of seeking. And what that tends to have you do is all of your awareness goes into just a few places that reinforce that feeling of I'm lost, I don't have answers, and I'm going to keep looking for something that I can't find. All right? We're either going to look to the physical world for answers, or we're going to look up into our mind to figure things out. That's the consciousness of seeking. And as long as you are seeking, by definition, because your consciousness creates your reality, you will keep seeking, because the underlying belief is, I don't have what I want. I can't find what I'm looking for. It's out there. It's missing. That's the presupposition. That's the underlying consciousness of the consciousness of seeking. So when you believe that something is missing, you're going to manifest something is missing. If you believe I need to go find something, I'm lost, you're going to keep manifesting I need to go find something. So that's the consciousness of seeking, which just keeps giving itself its own life. Now, the consciousness of seeing presupposes, is based on the assumption that what you want is already here. And all you need to do is see it. It's right here. That's another foundational principle that we always stand on when we learn how to receive. And that is this: you already are all that you seek to be, do, and have. I say that, I'm a broken record. My students have heard me say that 1,000,000 times. And while they keep moving towards that, they're like, how is that true? How is that true? It can be confusing until you get it. And when you get it, there's a dramatic shift. And so one of the ways you can really get this concept of you already are all that you seek to be, do, and have is that you already are here. Your fullness, your abundance, your prosperity, your health, your well-being, your love, your joy, your peace, all of that is right here, right now. There's nothing missing and there's nothing broken. But if you're not experiencing it, you haven't quite found out how to see it. How to see it. It is here, but we practice the consciousness of seeing. Now, how do you see that which is here? You stop the seeking, which means you stop looking in your mind and looking at the world, and you return to yourself. I invite you to start thinking of yourself as home. Yourself as home. In an ideal scenario, if we were to come home, home is the place where you actually stop seeking. If you're trying to find your way home, once you get home, you stop looking for home. As a matter of fact, you can rest. You can receive nourishment. Okay? In kind of real world scenarios, you get to sit on the couch and rest. You're not working. You get to go to the fridge and grab some food. You get to go to sleep. You get to nourish yourself. You get to take a bath. You're not seeking. You're receiving. So again, I understand that not everyone has a positive association with home, but what we're doing here is we're connecting with what would that be like in an ideal situation, and then become willing to discover how yourself is home. It's the place you can turn within, to the body instead of the mind, to the heart instead of the thinking, the feeling instead of the thinking, and from the world to this place where you don't have to seek anymore. There's nothing missing. If you are willing to believe that nothing is missing and simply start seeing what is here, receiving and seeing what is here, you're going to start to receive and become an invitation for all that has been waiting for you to come into your experience. Again, if you want to create your reality, there's nothing to go find, there's nothing to attract, there's nothing to fix. There's simply the seeing what has already always been here. So that's my invitation to you. And what I'd like to do to really take this deeper is I'm going to read one portion from today's card. So the card that I pulled today that inspired this whole Rise and Receive is this. Return to yourself. Return to yourself. This is from the card deck the suit from the card deck that is all about receiving with ease. When you learn the principles that allow you to receive with ease, the unlearning of the struggle just happens, okay? So I'm going to read you a portion from this card. It's actually quite rich and has some length to it. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I've already done a full video on it. I'll include a link to the video and you can really take in the message of return to yourself. But this is the piece I want to highlight, which takes today's principle and points you to how to do this. How do you return to yourself? How do you open up to experience all that you already are and all that life has to offer? Here we go. We struggle in so many ways when we don't know how to stop the seeking, the hunting, and the strategizing. We struggle in so many ways when we don't know the way and the power of the majestic tree. When we don't know how to simply sit and be. How to sense and feel what is occurring in our bodies. When we have become so lost in the world that we are completely disconnected from the stillness that is the ground of our being. When we have forgotten how to speak and understand the language of our bodies and our souls. When amidst all of the noise and activity, we feel unable to simply stop. And yet it is so simple. Stop. Just stop. And return to yourself. Just sit. Just be. The world will never stop poking at you, pulling at you, triggering you. And yet, while it provides an endless supply of bright, shiny objects, it does not have the fulfillment you seek. That lies within. You do not need to wait until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired of seeking. You can simply make the decision to stop looking for the answers in the wrong place and become willing to look and listen in the place where they actually are. So that's an excerpt from the Return to Yourself card. And if you do nothing else with today's Rise and Receive, here is a willingness mantra that you can take into your day when you feel lost. If you feel lost, notice if you feel lost, notice if you're seeking, stop, and then use this mantra as often as you like. I am willing to discover how to receive my fulfillment by always returning to myself. I am willing to discover how to receive my fulfillment by always returning to myself. So I hope that gives you some food for thought. I hope there's some comfort and soothing in it for you as well. And I have just one final point I wanted to make. I am a recovering Headley girl. That used to be my nickname around some communities, a women's empowerment group that I was, an international women's empowerment group. Sonia the Headley girl. My father went to MIT. He was a genius, and he was a very significant person in my life. And I used to literally sit, I kind of thought about it sort of like a modern day equivalent of sitting at the foot of my guru. We would sit and talk for hours. He would come home, he'd sit in his recliner, and I'd sit on the couch. And we would talk and philosophize about all kinds of things. And so I got this incredible sense of value and worthiness and validation for my mind and for how intelligent I was and for my capacity to think. And so I ran with that. And it gets you far in this world being intelligent and having a mind. And we get a lot of validation for being smart and capable and working hard and achieving things. And so I get what it is to be looking for answers in your mind and trying to figure things out in the world. And I tried that for decades. And yet there was this feeling of, I always called myself the relentless seeker. And I even address my community, always my clients, as, are you a seeker? Are you a seeker? If you are a seeker, that's a beautiful thing. But ultimately, there comes a time when you need to realize that you cannot find the answers as long as you're seeking. There comes a time we have to simply stop and shift from seeking in the mind and seeking in the world to being, to sitting, to feeling. The answers are here. And I know that if that doesn't make sense to your mind, it's okay. I was there. That's why I show up every day at Rise and Receive, because I'm here to point you to where your answers and your fulfillment truly exist. All it takes is willingness. Your mind may not understand this. Your mind may not like this. You may even thumb down me on this because it's not giving you what you're looking for. That's okay. But I will tell you, if you feel lost and you want to invite good fortune and you haven't been able to find the answers, try it on for size. Simply sit, simply be willing. Keep showing up to these Rise and Receives. Sit, feel, be, and practice. One nugget, another nugget that you get from these videos, they will point you in the right direction. I promise you. And if this is raising more questions than answers and you'd like to go, you feel like there's something here for you, just check out the links above and below. I always have a link to the Receive course. It is evergreen. It's available. You can join a wonderful community where we meet every week live for drop-in Q&A, and you can learn how to receive your fulfillment with much greater ease in the process of unlearning the struggle that comes from over-relying on the doing model of power, which is a whole bunch of thinking, a whole bunch of seeking, and a whole bunch of doing, and start shifting to the being model of power, the majestic tree that receives from life all day long and grows and flourishes and is fulfilled and contributes to the world. So I hope you like this. If you did, please like, please share. If you're on YouTube, please click on the red subscribe button. It helps me reach the people that I'm here to serve, and keep coming back. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next Rise and Receive. Bye, everybody.